This video accompanies a pattern in the summer 2019 issue of Cast On, which has bobbles. You can see that this is a kid sweater that has little bobbles, and if you notice, they're fairly tight, and I did that on purpose so that if the kid wants to play with them, they're going to stay kind of put and not get all sloppy. And how I did that is by working them a special way. So I'm going to start by making 5 stitches in one, and I'm using yarn over, stitch, yarn over, stitch. Okay, so you can see I've got 5 stitches in that one, and I've got a big hole down at the bottom, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to turn, and my yarn's getting caught up, and I'm going to purl into all of those stitches. 1, 2, and I'm going to pull it kind of tight. 4, 5. Okay, and I'm going to turn and work again. Now, if you knit backwards, you can do that purl row backwards and you're not having to turn so much, but I don't mind turning. And I'm going to knit those 5 stitches. So now I'm ready to collapse my bobble. See, there's my bobble. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to purl 2 together, purl 2 together, whoops, and then just purl 1. So I've gone from 5 stitches to 3. Okay, there we go, there's my bobble. And then I'm going to do a CDD, a central double decrease, to get 1 stitch. And I like doing this better rather than knitting the 3 stitches together. It makes it look just a little neater on top. Okay, so I've got this bobble. And if you look at this bobble, it's considerably bigger than this one. And it's real sloppy at the bottom, and there's a hole. And if I look at this one, I don't have a hole. Well, how I do that is by wrapping the yarn around this guy just to tighten it up, because I think this is a big old ugly blob, and I'd rather have it tighter and neater. So the first step is that I'm bringing my yarn to the front, and I'm wrapping it under the bobble. And I'm just using my thumb to make sure that I've got it under the bobble, okay? Now I'm going to transfer this stitch to my left needle, and I'm going to bring my yarn to the back. I'm going to transfer it back to my right needle, and then I'm going to wrap it around that stitch and pull really tight to make sure that it's pulling the yarn from underneath that stitch. And notice what that does is it closes up that big loopy stitch at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to transfer this stitch back to my left needle just so I can bring that yarn to the back again. So what I've done is I've wrapped that bobble at the bottom and at the top. Now to complete it, I'm going to work the next 2 stitches really tight just to make sure that the excess yarn from that bobble is pulled in. And you can see that it tightens that guy up, and a little kid can pick at it, and it's not going to lose its shape too much. So let's do it one more time. And there are 7 stitches between each bobble. So I want to count. And there's my bobble stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here we go again. I'm going to knit, yarn over, knit, yarn over, knit, turn, and I'm going to work these stitches tight. I'm going to give it a little bit of an extra tug just to make sure that it's not going to be too loose and sloppy. And I pulled a little so tight that it's hard to work the next few stitches. Okay, now here's my last row of knitting. Knit those 5 stitches. And are bobbles a pain? Yeah, but you know, for this sweater, since it's for a kid and it's cute, I'm willing to do it. Kid and baby. I've knit a baby sweater too. Purl 2, purl 2, purl 1, and then a CDD, central double decrease, slip the 2 as if to knit, work the next stitch, And then pull these two guys over, kind of push that bobble to the front, bring my yarn around, go underneath the bobble, sorry, got it completely around, shift that stitch, pull the yarn to the back, pull really tight, pull tight on all these steps, and then shift it back, and then work the next two stitches really tight. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. There's my bobbles. And yeah, that is a lot of work, but you know, if you're making bobbles, you want them to look nice and not sloppy. And by the way, this is the sleeve, and I use these row markers, in case you're wondering what those are, to mark my increase rows. When I'm writing a pattern, it's easier to count the rings rather than to count the rows.